My name is Grace. I am 29 years old. I am married. My husband's name is Jackson. He is 35 years old. We live in a small house. My husband is a good man. He works a lot every day. For a long time, everything felt normal here. Life was simple and calm. Then things began to change slowly. It began with our neighbor. Her name is Bethany. She lives in the house next to ours. I started to notice Bethany often. It felt like Bethany was always at her window. She watched me from her window. It was a strange feeling. Bethany never smiled. Her face was always serious. She never said hello. She never spoke a single word to me. She only watched. Her eyes were always on me. I felt a little scared. I did not understand why she watched me so much. Was it normal for neighbors to watch each other like this? I did not think so. One afternoon, I was hanging clothes outside. I turned slowly. Bethany was at her window watching me. It was too much. I could not breathe. I hurried back into the house, my heart beating fast. Later that evening, Jackson came home from work. He asked about my day. I decided to tell him about Bethany. I said, "Jackson, she is always watching me. Every time I go outside, Bethany is there." Jackson smiled. He said, "Grace, my love, you are imagining things. Maybe she just likes looking out her window." He thought I was being silly. I said, "No, Jackson, I am not imagining it. It is real. She watches me all the time. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. I feel like I cannot breathe sometimes." Jackson kissed my forehead. He said, "Grace, you worry too much. There is nothing to be afraid of. She is just an old neighbor." He did not understand. He could not see it from my side, but I knew I was not wrong. I really wanted to show Jackson. I needed him to see Bethany. Every morning I tried. I said, "Look, Jackson, she is there." I pointed to Bethany's window. Jackson came quickly and looked out, but every time the window was empty. Bethany was never there. As soon as Jackson was near, Bethany would move away. Jackson would only see an empty window. He turned to me and said, "Sweetheart, there is no one there. Please don't worry so much." But I worried more. Jackson did not believe me. His words did not help me. I felt very alone. I wanted my old quiet life back. I wanted to feel safe in my own home again. I needed to take Bethany's picture to show Jackson the truth. So the next morning, I woke up early. I put the phone on the window. I pressed the button. Click. I took the phone. I looked at the screen. The photo was there. Bethany's face in her window. This was it. The proof. "Jackson, look," I said. He was at the table. I held out the phone to him. Jackson looked at the picture. His face changed. He said, "Is that her?" I said, "Yes." Jackson stood up. He put his hand on my arm. He said, "You were right, Grace. I am sorry. I did not believe you." He looked at Bethany's window, then back at the phone. He looked scared. He said, "Stay close to me." After a while, Jackson said, "I need to go over there. I need to talk to her." I froze. My husband walked to the front door and opened it. I watched him go. I stood by our window. He went to Bethany's house. There were no lights on. He knocked on her door. No one came to the door. No sound came from inside. Jackson knocked again. Still nothing. Jackson looked into the windows. There was no sign that anyone lived there. No clothes, no chairs, no table. Jackson came back. His face was pale. He looked scared. He said, "Grace, there's no one there. I knocked many times. I looked everywhere, but the house is empty." I froze. I said, "Empty, but Bethany lives there. We saw her today. I took a picture." Jackson shook his head. He said, "No, Grace. I asked some people. That house has been empty for many years. Nobody lives there. It's just an empty house." My heart stopped. An empty house. But I had seen Bethany every single day. The photo on my phone showed Bethany's face clearly. How could this be true? It felt like I was losing my mind. Jackson sat next to me. I could not believe his words. The next morning, I decided to find the truth myself. I walked quickly to the street office in town. A kind woman sat at a desk. I asked the woman about the house next door. I gave her the address. She went to a computer. I waited. The woman came back with official paper. The paper said the house was empty. It had been empty for 5 years. My hands started shaking. My whole body felt cold. There was no Bethany. There was no neighbor watching me. It made no sense. I quickly took out my phone. I opened the photo I had taken of Bethany's face, but now there was no face at all. Only an empty window. No woman stood there. I stared at the screen. After that day, I saw shadows move in my house. Jackson saw my fear. He was worried for me and for himself. He said, "Grace, we must leave. We need to move away from here. We can start a new life somewhere else." He hoped a new home would make me safe, but I knew moving would not help. Bethany was not a place. Bethany was something else. I knew I would never be free. If we moved to a new city or country, it would not matter. Bethany would find me. The watching would never stop. Sometimes, when I looked in the mirror, my eyes changed. They looked exactly like Bethany's eyes. I understood now. Bethany was not a neighbor. Bethany was inside me. The watching never ended. It was always there. Every time I was alone, I felt it. Even with Jackson, I felt it. Bethany was always watching. The feeling was a part of me. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.